Salam à tous les frères bantous. Soyez tous beluka. Et bien sûr, Kembo, à notre tata Nzambi'Yah Zulu. Kimfumukia Kuisa. Donc, je me permets donc de faire cette vidéo qui reprendra tout simplement la vidéo que le frère Tsiba Malonga a publié il y a 2 jours et que donc les Ntantu ont supprimé de sa chaîne Tsiba Malonga officielle. Donc le titre qui avait publié donc pour cette vidéo était pourquoi cette vérité dérange-t-elle les édomites. Et selon eux, soi-disant, c'est parce que elle inciterait à la haine. Mais le contenu de cette vidéo, il n'y a rien de cela en fait. Il n'y a rien de cela, pas une seule parole. Mais tout au contraire, il dévoilait juste qui était l'usurpateur. Donc ces Israéliens, ces khazars, et qui étaient tout simplement le vrai peuple. Donc comme ça leur dérange cette vérité, ils ont tout simplement décidé de supprimer cette vidéo. Donc c'est encore une preuve qui atteste qu'ils essayent tout simplement de cacher cette vérité, hein, parce qu'ils savent que c'est la réalité. Donc voilà, en agissant de la sorte, ça prouve tout simplement que ils sont les usurpateurs et tout simplement que ce qui est repris dans le contenu de cette vidéo est vrai. Donc voilà, je vais passer tout simplement, partager cette vidéo du frère et je vous dis à bientôt. Salam et restez bien sûr dans le coma et à l'obéissance des lois, préceptes, statuts, commandements et recommandations de notre Tata Nzambi, ok? Soyez tous bello comme mes frères et sœurs et à bientôt. Salam.
Black people, you are Israelites, you are the chosen ones, you are a prestigious people. Your history is in the Bible.
This is a fascinating book, and the web pages are there, you can check it out. Facts are facts. This is a book that was written by a Jewish man. And he confronted the thinking of many of the high-placed individuals of the world. This is interesting stuff. In this book, Benjamin H. Friedman, a Jewish man, writes about the Jews and reveals an interesting history. He states that the present Jews in Palestine are not the true descendants of the Judeans, but rather descendants of the Khazars. In the letter addressed to D. David Goldstein of Boston, Massachusetts, a convert to Catholicism, the author Benjamin Friedman of New York City, dated October 1954, provides some fascinating insights. This is in the public domain. Let's study this for a while and see where we get. Benjamin H. Friedman claims that the word Jew was only introduced into the English language in the 18th century, and that Jesus referred to himself as a Judean and not as a Jew. Inscribed upon the cross when Jesus was crucified were the Latin words Iesus Nazarenus Rex Iodeorum, which means Jesus of Nazareth, ruler of the Judeans. As to the origin of the present Jews in Palestine, he states that those Jews derived from Eastern Europe, and many of the Jews that today live in the reconstituted state of Israel come from Eastern Europe, are not descendants of the Judeans or the lost tribes of Israel, but rather descendants of the Khazars. Who were they? They were a nation most people do not even know of. He writes, the so-called self-styled Jews in Eastern Europe in modern history cannot legitimately point to a single ancient ancestor who ever set even a foot on the soil of Palestine in the era of Bible history. Research also revealed that the so-called or self-styled Jews in Eastern Europe were never Semites, are not Semites now, nor can they ever be regarded as Semites at any future time by any stretch of the imagination. What secret, mysterious power has been able for countless generations to keep the origin and the history of the Khazars and the Khazar kingdom out of the history textbooks? Did you ever learn about it at school? I never learned about it. And out of classroom courses in history throughout the world, the origin and the history of Khazars and the Khazar kingdom are certainly incontestable historical facts. You have to do some cross-checking. Even the Jewish Encyclopedia is quite explicit about it. This was the Khazar kingdom. Here is the Black Sea, the Byzantine Empire. Here was Persia. And here was the kingdom of the Khazars. It was a massive kingdom. Now let's look at some of this interesting history. The Khazars were an Asiatic nation. And the Jewish Encyclopedia states Persian origin that converted to Talmudic Judaism. Now obviously some of the rabbis involved there could have been Judeans and probably were Judean descendants, but their converts are not Judeans. And that had conquered a vast area of Eastern Europe, which was in turn later conquered by the Russians in the 10th and 13th century. So that is why there are so many Russian Jews. Have you ever thought where they came from? Did they escape from Palestine? Were they the lost 10 tribes? Did they emigrate to Russia? No. This is a totally different nation that accepted Talmudic Judaism. He writes, after a historic session with representatives of the three monotheistic religions, King Bulan, 7th century, decided against Christian and Islam, because Islam had just arisen, and selected as the future state religion the religious worship then known as Talmudism, and not known and practiced as Judaism, which was totally different, which was based on the Bible. They adopted the Hebrew alphabet, and the Khazars adapted words to their requirements from the German, the Slavonic, and the Baltic languages. This language was known as Yiddish. And Yiddish used the Hebrew alphabetic characters, but not Hebrew. It's not Hebrew. It's Yiddish. I've always wondered, when I hear them speaking Yiddish, I understand quite a few words. Why? Because I'm German. They had many exchanges with universities and their students were trained. So here is another nation which had occupied this area, and they had adopted this religion and brought rabbis in and trained the people, but they were not Judean. Now let's jump to today. In accordance to this history, the religion of the modern state of Israel is based on Kabbalistic and Talmudic traditions and is far removed from the biblical worship of Yahweh. And if it is based on the Talmud, it is so anti-Jesus Christ that it belies understanding. And here we have, in March 2006, while visiting Yeshiva University at Brooklyn, New York, a Jewish institute dedicated to the study of the what? Talmud. We have Cardinal Kasper. Who's Cardinal Kasper? Cardinal Kasper is the cardinal associated with ecumenism. They are honoring the Talmud together. You see, behind the scenes, there is a pact. Because I, as a Christian, can sympathize with every other religion, but I cannot embrace a religion that speaks evil of Jesus Christ. Nor can I have a union with such a religion? Because can two walk together lest they be agreed?
They just came out with a new DNA study by Dr. Ilan Elhaik of St. John's Hopkins School of Medicine, one of the most distinguished schools in America. He's Jewish. He says that there is no Jewish people, that all of the Jews in the world came from the khazars and such. Now, there have been other genetic studies on this. In other words, no one living in Israel today has ancestors who came from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So the people, when Netanyahu says God gave us the title of this land, 5,000 years ago, no such thing. His ancestors came from Khazaria. So
there's been new genetic research showing that's a true theory.
So this just came.
The 13th tribe has been confirmed. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Arthur Kessler, the poor guy died. Some say he was murdered. He was a very good Zionist Jew, and he wrote the 13th tribe. He said they came. All of the historians and archaeologists have always said this. I wanted to.
That's around Georgia.
Yeah, I wanted to know the truth. I wanted to say, well, what is the truth on this? Well, now we have DNA evidence that says the Jews are converts. They're pagans who converted to Judaism. They do not. Their bloodlines do not go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And not only that. But Dr. Elhaik, who is Jewish, who's a real fighter there, he says there's no doubt about it. It's science. So what happens? What all the Christians do? I want to say this. Henry Kissinger knew of this study. He knows of this. I think
it's really chic to hate Israel, and I see them building it up, Antichrist stuff. He claims to be and then kills them. this is crazy.
Right. The elite.
That's what I'm saying. It's more sophisticated.
The elite have latched on to Israel as a tactic, as a strategy.
Like I saw America's plunging in the polls. They have us do the dirty work, then they destroy us.
Absolutely. Look, the Rothschilds and the others are Sabbatean Jews. They worship Satan. They don't worship the Bible. They have a serpent that they worship. I know this sounds fantastic. Of course it is. But that
was because of that ancient area north of Georgia. That was the.
Right, Kazakhstan, Georgia, all those areas in there. Those people migrated over to Europe. There were 3 million Polish people. Now, when Israel was formed, David Ben-Gurion, the first prime minister, was a Polish guy. Shimon Peres is Polish. That wasn't even their names. They changed their names to sound like they were Israelites. So we have a nation of imposters. But it would be wrong of us to hate these people. It would be wrong of us to not get the right idea here. The right idea is this. These people have been used. They have been used for foul purposes. They have been used to set up a bastion in the Middle East. But they will be dealt with. They'll be destroyed once the New World Order has...
Yeah, why is Saudi Muslims too?
Yeah, well, Pike was an interesting character who had the plan. And he said basically the plan is that there will be a great clash between the Muslims, the Christians, with the Jews sort of sitting on the sideline, but they'll be destroyed too. So that atheism will be the true religion, and Lucifer will be the one we worship. And I think that's the key here. We have to understand these people do not worship the Old Testament. And I'm talking about the Illuminati elite. They don't worship the Old Testament. They don't believe in the Old Testament at all. They have the Kabbalah.
As a Jew, and I just got to say, it just makes total sense because, the whole continent of Africa, when Jesus was speaking about his second coming, and as the lightning is seen from the east and to the west, then so will my coming be. And it's very obvious that to the east of Jerusalem, you see, is Africa. So it really means that the Jews are Africans. Okay, it just makes... the way he explained it, it was just like, wow, that, the Jews are taking over, which means the black Africans, of course. It's the black African bankers that are hailing from sort of Middle Eastern, and, it must be these people, not the Swiss bankers and not the Rothschilds that are really sort of running things as far as the banking industry goes. It must be the black Africans. They must be the true Jews, and basically it's just really enlightened me today. I really thank all these people online that have spoken these wonderful truths. Over 1 billion Black Africans